Tuesday again. Trade Tuesday's working out a bit strange this time round. Kind of not going exactly as planned, but so right now I'm on the Edinburgh bypass. So I saw an advert on Facebook Marketplace last night for crap base. So I have to have that. It is in Edinburgh, so I'm kind of probably spending about the same on petrol or diesel as I am on the actual base. So it's a P base by Cheetah. I was trying to think back. I don't think I've ever really come across a P base I don't like. So there's not an awful lot you can get wrong on a P base. So the fact that it's described as crap, I will, if I have the technology to put a photo, and I did a screen grab because it was quite a funny advert. It got like 200 likes on the page. It's quite funny. I'd done a Buckmaster caster type thing where I think it gave an awful lot of folk a bit of a laugh, or 200 odd folk enough of a laugh to like it, you know. So it'll be interesting. The guy, I messaged the guy and said, I'm up for a crap base, and he said, oh, so is this going to be a Bucky caster? So it's like, well, it's possible. I don't know, it's a sort of blue sunburst. Actually looks quite good, but I haven't really come across any Cheetahs before. I don't think. I seem to remember my pal Steph has had, he described it as a bag of shite. It was a black acoustic bass, non-electro acoustic bass he had that I think he picked up for 20 quid or something, and I was really impressed with it. I thought it was great. The acoustic bass I had was too nice. It was like I think it was a Westfield, but it was like quite shiny and had all the abalone inlays and all this stuff, and it was like not really what I wanted for an acoustic bass. Was a sort of £20 one with lots of scratches on it that's pretty basic, but you can, you know, chuck in the back of the car or take out the boat or something like that. So I'm still kind of on the lookout for one of them. I'm sure it was a Cheetah. So I'll maybe try and get one of them. It's like, I think I just bought two. When I bought the acoustic bass, my Westfield one, I don't think there was really that many acoustic basses about. You know, that you got cheap ones. I did get a cheap one, I think it was like 200 quid. But that just doesn't really suit in. Acoustic basses are funny things. They sound great when you're sitting watching the telly, but as soon as you start playing along with somebody who's playing an acoustic guitar, they can't compete. So it kind of defeats the purpose of having an acoustic bass unless you're playing on your own. Maybe if you were playing along with somebody who was playing like a ukulele or something, it might be a better idea. Or if you've got like a really considerate guitar player. When I was in the band I was in years ago, when I had the acoustic bass, the keyboard player used to play the guitar and he only had one volume, and that was strum that guitar as loud as it goes, and you can't play an acoustic bass along with someone absolutely battering an acoustic. You know, it's like, could you try like picking it or hitting it a bit softer, Chris? And he was just pure bam, 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 and it's like, I might as well not be playing. So that was kind of what put me off the acoustic bass. It was also a sort of small-bodied one. I get the feeling I actually looked up before. You know the one you get, it's called a Banjo Sexto, which like mariachi bands have. It's like a massive acoustic guitar-y thing. I kind of thought about maybe getting one of them, wondering if it was maybe a bit louder, but they don't exist very often. So it seemed like quite a lot of fun. Yeah, so this bass could be interesting. Just an excuse really to get out. Lockdowns are all lifted now, so everyone's going to be a little bit happier. And it fits in with my Trade Tuesday, and I might Buckify it, I might Iron Brewify it. I'll probably add pickups to it or something, I don't really know. Assuming it's going to be salvageable at all. I think, to be honest, when you're paying a tenner for a bass, it kind of had 4 tuners on it. So it's kind of like, even if the body and the neck are absolute garbage, you know, it's like, you're kind of paying a tenner for a tuner. Okay, I'm paying that diesel to get to Edinburgh, but I'm getting a video out, and then I'll get a video about how terrible the bass is, if it is terrible. So I really can't lose. I think I'll give the guy a t-shirt. I brought a large one and an extra large one, see what size he is when he answers the door. I'll give him a wee t-shirt as a bonus. He called me messaged me last night because I couldn't pick up last night because I was live streaming. It was really annoying because he was actually over in Glasgow last night. So I can meet you at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and it's like, that's exactly when I'm going online. So that's one of the reasons I'm kind of going to move I'm not kinda. I'm going to move the the live stream to a Saturday night, so that everyone else can drink as well. I was thinking about it in the shower this morning, and that might be quite a sneaky option as well, because if everyone's getting drunk watching it, they might watch it live while drinking with me, and then on Sunday they don't remember it, so they can watch it again. Yay! So I might get 2 views off everybody. So that's kind of another wee sneaky bit of the plan, which might work. The Sunday night thing is good. I mean, I'm just kind of get used to it now, but someone says, you know, some people have to work in the morning, so drinking on a Sunday night's not for everyone. Whereas Saturday night's a free for all, isn't it? And Sunday night seems to be that everyone's sitting on eBay and stuff. That's when I always put the Buckfaster casters up for sale. It was always Sunday round about sort of 6-7 o'clock, and then that would get maximum exposure, and it was pretty much always all sold on the first night. So more of that. Yeah, so if I see anything interesting, I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just blindly following the sat nav, which appears to be working, thankfully. If I see some sites, someone mentioned before, it's like, I think it was an American, it's like, oh, it's good to see old buildings, because America doesn't really have any, so I'm trying, if I see any oldie buildings and stuff like that, I might flip the camera around a little bit. There's not really much to see just now. Again, all the roads going into Edinburgh look Edinburgh somehow. I've got a cycle lane here. Still 1.6 miles along this road to go. Try not to wrap it on too much. I shall see you when I've got the base, probably in, I don't know, what does that nav say? 6 minutes, alright, I'm nearly there. Rocket. And we're back in the bypass. Lovely guy again. It always seems to be such nice people doing this. Yeah, so he was over the moon with his free t-shirt as well. Just laughing, basically. It's, I suppose the whole joke when you're trying to sell a crap base and describe it as such. So here it is. It's a cheetah, and to be honest, I don't think it looks that crap at all. Oh, okay. The fret ends are all popping out. I can feel them now. Okay, maybe it's a bit rubbish. Yeah, totally. The fret ends are like like razors on my fingers. So they'll be getting dapping hammered in and then filed off to be good. So maybe that just goes for, you can't really pick up a bass that's described as a crap bass for a tenner and get something that you can just go straight out and gig with, or it would be any good for learning. I'm sure I'll be able to do something with it. I actually think I've got another P-bass neck I've got to do. I've got a Honor P-bass neck in my parts box, so if the neck does turn out to be rubbish, then I could just put the other neck on it. It's actually quite a cool colour of blue. It's a sort of bluey to purple sunburst. It's rather nice. A few chunks out it, so I think buckifying it is the way to go, or iron brewifying it. I like to look up and see how many of each I've done. I'm pretty sure I've done a couple of P-basses in both colour schematics. I can't remember what I was going to talk about there. I was going to try and keep this video a bit shorter than, so it doesn't take as long to, I don't have to attempt to try and edit it. So like, you know, a couple of 10-minute videos today. Oh, that's right, good luck Wayne. He's in for an operation today, my pal Wayne down south. I hope it goes all well for you. So it's tomorrow, well today, because today is when I put the video out. So just best wishes. I hope you survive, basically. Yeah, totally. Thinking of you, man. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I was going to get like a chippy or something, but it's kind of getting, I managed to time this. Going in at 4 o'clock is just to catch me just at the start of all the schools getting out, so I've just basically been stuck in traffic for most of this journey. There's like a 2-mile stretch from between the motorway and the guy's house. That was just stop-starty every set of lights. I'm now on the bypass, which is always, I always remember it being a bit slow, stop-starty until I get onto the motorway. And as usual, coming home from Edinburgh, I seem to go a slightly different route every time, but always end up on the way home. So I think it depends on which Glasgow sign I see first. There's always a bit where I'm always kind of like, where am I? I've never been here before, and then it's like, you're all right. I get it. I know where we are now. So I'll avoid that. But I'm absolutely starving. I should have. I'll just wait till I get home. I'm going to go to Home Bargains on the way home. I'm sure that'll be supremely exciting. I don't know if I'll be silly enough to actually film getting stuff in Home Bargains. I might put the camera in my pocket just in case there's something interesting. Sometimes I get good. I bought my keytars in Home Bargains, the ones that I used to control the Volca bass and the Volca keys that I used to have. I built a wee box for it and actually gigged with it with Jesse Ray using I think the RRP on them was like 60 quid. It was like a keytar for a Wii for the game Rock Band, and then they were down to 8 quid, and I bought one just because I thought it's got a MIDI output on it. Can I control things with MIDI with that? And it did. And then it was £8. I think I bought another one once I realised that it worked. My pal bought one as well, and then a couple of weeks later they only had a couple left and they were down to £4 each, so that's why I've got 3 or 4 of those wee keytar things. Good fun if you can pick one up now. I mean, it's a great controller. I'm actually looking at a thing going tonight. I missed a couple of guitars on eBay. Well, I didn't miss, they just went for more than I wanted them to, but there's someone selling a MIDI sound module, and I've been looking at MIDI sound modules. The problem is I've got my MIDI guitar, and the only synthesizers I kept are like classic synths. So, you know, like the Yamaha DX21 and the CZ1 and the Moog and the Mini Brute, all those things all make great synthesizer-y sounds, but there's not a realistic sound to be had in them. You know, in 1980, the late 80s, piano was kind of piano-y, sort of. It's kind of, it does kind of have that 80s piano sound, the one you hear in the DX7 one. The DX21 sounds not that different to that, but it's not really, it doesn't really sound like a piano. It just sounds like a pop song from 1987. Whereas this modern MIDI thing is basically new, so it's going to have just a general MIDI bank. So when I run the Casio guitar through it, it should just basically give me realistic saxophone, which is really what I'm after, and flutes and stuff like that, which work really well with the guitar. Also, thinking about it, it means that I can use the DX21 or the Casio, because they've got MIDI out on them as well, so I can just run them MIDI out into this MIDI thing and have realistic-ish sounding things. Let's just tell me to go left here. That can't be right, can it? Surely I'm going to go straight on. That's 0.5 of a mile. Yeah. I think that's a junction I've taken a few times. You take the wrong junction, then go round the roundabout and back up the other side, back onto the same road, and then take the correct turn. Yeah, so MIDI guitar could be getting some action. This thing's, it's only a wee thing like that size. It's kind of the sort of size that I reckon I could almost just like Velcro onto the front of the guitar, which would mean I basically had like the MIDI guitar. There's 2 versions of it. Well, there was 3, but there's 2 different shapes. But here we go. So there's the 500, which I've got. Well, I've got the 510. The 500's exactly the same, apart from it's not a Strat. It's kind of like a spaceship shape. And then there's the 6. I can't remember the one that JJ Cale uses. Is that a 610? It's called, which is basically a Strat. It's the same as mine, apart from it's got a Floyd Rose instead of a Strat trem, and it's got its own synthesizer built into it, where mine's just a MIDI controller. This one's got the MIDI controller as well, but it's also got like a 2-up, basically a cheapy keyboard. I don't think there's really any sounds in there you're going to absolutely love. I think it's like, you know, 8 sounds, kind of the same as what you would get on a Portatone or something like that. So I've kind of, if I stick this MIDI module on it, I should have a full general MIDI bank of all modern and hopefully incredibly realistic sounds. This is just to try and replace my massive Korg, which, although it was, I think it was from about 2000 or something like that, it was an IS-50 or something. The thing was absolutely huge, but it had a Core Game 1 in it. Basically, it was like a couple of years, like maybe 5 years or 10 years after Core Game 1. So there's an awful lot of sounds on it that were Pink Floyd The Division bell. You know, like the piano and stuff like that was just exactly the same as the Division bell. It's like, right, which is good enough for me, let's be honest. I mean, I know you can probably get more realistic things in the last 20 years, but being as good as Pink Floyd's, that's kind of fine. So this should be interesting. Anyway, cool. So I've talked again, and I said I wasn't going to talk for very long. I ended up talking for quite a long time. Again, best of luck, Wayne. I will, once you're awake, I will talk to you. Catch you later. So that was Home Bargains. Slow people. It's like I get more road rage in supermarkets than I do on the road, and I do get road rage a bit. Not really rage. I've actually worried about people thinking I'm really quite aggressive when I'm driving. Not really. But in there, it's just like, I like going to supermarkets at 7 o'clock at night when it's just single men that go, because I like picking up single men. No, because generally they go in, get what they want and come out, whereas when you go in during the day, you get people who sit and think about things, as in just try and find the thinnest point, any choke point, and they just stand. And it's just like, can I get past? They're just standing there. Yeah. So I'm not really that annoyed about it. I'm actually quite pleased there was no queue. What it has done is it's made it quite touch and go whether I'm going to be able to get tonight's video, as in Monday night, last night for you, this video out. I'll make it do it. I've got a fuzz pedal, which you probably know, assuming I actually managed to do it, borrowing off my pal Ronnie, a Fender Pelt fuzz. So I might have a quick 10-minute blast on that and then just stick it up, and then I'll do a proper demo of it once I've had a decent shot. Just it seemed to be, after I did the Fuzz Fest last week, I think my pal saw that and went, oh. So that could be interesting. I'm just trying to make it like a 10-minute video, because I figure if it takes me 10 minutes to record it, it'll take 10 minutes to upload, so, and then 10 minutes to process. So in theory, if I do a 10-minute video and I manage to get it, I managed to start uploading it at 6:30, I should be touch and go and actually manage to be able to get it up at 7 o'clock. I was thinking of doing it live, because I mean, the videos are live anyway, but the sound doesn't seem to be the same. I might need to maybe look into that, something to do with the live streaming. I'm using the same mic and everything, it just doesn't seem to be, the sound seems to be ropey somehow. I don't know whether it's compressing it like another level than what it normally does, or maybe it's just the processing doesn't seem to do it. Actually, I should have a look back at a previous stream and see if it's only bad immediately once it's up. You know, maybe it processes afterwards. I don't really know. But anyway, the weather's turned all right again. Got a bit dark and doomy looking there. I'm now in a lovely little place called Queenieburn, or Queensieburn if you want to mispronounce it and put the Z's in it. Yeah, so it's alright. Countryside, I suppose. Sheeples. And then here, I was trying to see what those flags were. I don't know what they are. Repsol. What the hell's Repsol? Sounds like some sort of trade type of oil or something. Repsol. Don't know. It wasn't flags I recognised. I wondered if they're maybe making some sort of protest. Maybe Repsol's the new order. Oh nice, there's what looks like an old ruined house, is it? Or is it actually somebody's house with a saltire flag above it? Not sure, but good to do it anyway. We were getting a wee bit of jip last night on YouTube, and folk were trying to post saltires and stuff they don't like, putting up the Scottish flag on anything. So it comes up as a black flag, which is strange. You'd almost think that the United Kingdom, the Westminster government, didn't want us to be a separate country or have any identity whatsoever. Yeah. Rocking. So I've got some food. I got my favourite thing. I did have the camera in my pocket. There's too many folk about. I didn't really see any musical instruments, although they did have wee acoustic guitars for 20 quid, wee classical things, which is one of those ones that, I've totally forgotten about. I was going to buy one at one point because I was going to try and turn it into a U-bass. I've now just remembered that I've actually got a wee mini Stratocaster thing with all the bits to turn it into a U-bass that I kind of just got sidetracked with. Sit there. I went through a stage during this lockdown of cleaning out old projects, but also I started some to replace them. You know, the projects that just sit there, you look at them and go, I'll do that one day. More of them. Yeah, so we're coming down the hill here. This is I think that's Dyke Farm. Dyke's obviously a word here for a wall, or I suppose a dam. But that's where I bought my first drum kit. Of the guys who lived on Dyke Farm. My Premier resonator. Still got it actually. It's in the garage. Don't have room for a full drum kit. I can't get rid of it because it's a pure cool looking one. Also it says resonator on it, which makes you think, yeah, the Terminator. Makes me think. Oh, there we go. We've got some scenery. That's a lovely bit of the world, has to be said. I seem to remember going along here and there was a donkey at one point. I smelled burning, it was not this car. Maybe someone having a... I see it's sunny and nice. Why not? I'm going to lead this with the word donkey, assuming I see donkeys. I didn't see them on the way out, but I remember seeing them in listed, I suppose. These things move about over the months. They recycle. It's looking a little bit dark and morbid over there in Mordor. Just padding out time now. Hoping I'm not touching the microphone. Kind of trying to hold this so it doesn't do it. Is that a donkey? There's Highland cows. I don't know if that's a donkey or a horse. That's not a donkey, that's a horse. No, it's a donkey. It's a donkey. It's a donkey! Yay! Pick me! Rock on! Hey YouTube! Yeah, everyone seems to be working. So here it is, the cheetah bass. Oh, not so easy. Yeah, it's a wee bit of an interesting kind of putting that box up a bit big. It's an interesting shape there, isn't it? There, it's kind of like a wee right angle. Not really sure what to think of that. Pretty cool though. I really like the colour of this. It's like bluish, turquoisey burst of some interesting colours. It looks very blue in the video just now, but in reality there's a bit of sort of pinky, purpley sheen to it somewhere. So as you can see in the advert there, it was just described as crap bass available to someone who wants the very bottom tier of musical equipment. It's full size, comes with free dust. So here we go, and I kind of took that as a bit of a challenge because I normally like P basses. There's not really that much you can get wrong with a P bass. Kind of, it's like a Telecaster, but it's a bass. So yes, so in the car that I mentioned, I thought it kind of looked alright. The fret ends are horrendous. They really are awful. I can't really tell if they do look to be they appear to be have lifted up just slightly out the fretboard all the way along this edge. They're not great on the bottom edge, but the top edge they're really rough. If you're running your finger up over the top, it really is. It's going to take your skin off. They might even be broken. I can actually see daylight in below some of them. So I'm thinking, I mean, it was described as a crap bass, but my thinking was at a tenner. It's got 4 tuners on it. They all look alright. They've got to be used to the bridge. Again, not really much you can get wrong with these things. Pickups, the scratch plate. All these things add up. So I have plugged it in and I've just tuned it up. And it's, the electrics aren't great. They're a little bit noisy, I'll be honest, but she's got that in it. That sounds like a bad pot to me. Maybe if I just sometimes if you just keep using these enough, obviously I could take the scratch plate off and then, haha, okay, it's getting better. Whether that's going to be cleanable with like pot cleaner, I don't know, but I mean it's gone from being not working at all to tone works. So again, my opinion of P bases hasn't really changed. This is totally fine. It's just the fact that these frets are popping out. But if it was, I keep going back to this, maybe not Mad Max. You ever seen the film The Postman with Kevin Costner in it, which is, it's a really long film, and it gets really slated. No one seems to know what it is, but it's actually really good. If you like Waterworld and Mad Max, which I do, kind of like that. And there's a bit where the leader of the sort of the Mad Max gang type thing is a guy with big teeth, blonde hair, and he's like, I recognise you, and he's like, yeah, I used to be someone before the war, and it's like, it's Tom Petty, who's the leader of the thing. But my thinking there is, if that was the situation and you had to play a bass, then this would be fine. You could work your way around it, definitely, especially since you'd probably have tough hands from, you know, like, clawing through the ravaged earth, trying to find food, so your fingers would probably be a bit tougher than mine are. But I mean, it's a bass, it sounds alright, actually it sounds quite good. It's really the way I play though. See how I've got my thumb sitting on the top, it's really, really sticking into my fingers. I think I was going to say I'd cut myself a lot. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably only cut myself once because it's really going to hurt and I might nick an artery. So it'd just be a case of making sure you keep your thumb on the back of the neck. Don't ever be tempted to do the over the top thing, and don't do any big slides. Well, as long as you're doing it from the bottom. Yeah, I keep almost catching myself on it. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to tap them in with the dapping hammer, but I'm not really sure. Again, there he wins just as I run my finger. After playing it for like a couple of notes, you're like, everyone's alright, this is fine, great bass, what's wrong with it? And then you do that and it's like, you're yeah, so I think if you've got one of these, it's not like that Burswood guitar. This is a genuine bass. I was actually looking at it. I'm not 100% sure it's all the body and the neck belong to each other. It seems to be a bit rub. In fact, I can actually use this camera's on, isn't it? It's just pointing at the wall. Oh, here we go. Technology. Yeah. So if I can look that down on the into the fret, I don't know if you can really see the daylight coming through on them. Angle it right. I'm looking outside. You can sort of this is unproven technology. You can sort of see. You can actually see under the fret there. Pretty bad. So that they all need to be hammered in and filed, possibly like glued and clamped or something. And why did I pick this up? Why did I pick up the camera? I was going to show you something that wasn't fret ends. Can't remember. Anyway, yeah. So, and the guy was aware of me being the Bucky caster builder guy. I gave him a t-shirt, the one with white writing on it. Got a t-shirt I'm just about to post just now down to Ronnie. Hello. Go to Lockerbie. So I've not really decided what to do with this yet. My stage in my plan, my 10-point plan, where one was have a laugh with the guy to get to go drive to Edinburgh to get it, bring it back, and then the next thing would be to make it work. I'm not going to bother painting it and doing anything else until I've sorted out these frets. Assuming that they will be sortable, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do something. Normally hammer and angle grinder if it comes down to it, but this could be a Bucky bass. I kind of quite like the colour though. Oh, I was going to say, I remember why I had the camera out now. It was this join here for the neck. That's not very it's not super accurate. it kind of, and it's kind of the same around this side, where it kind of, you can sort of, it's been, get the light right, it's been sort of hacked away at a little bit, so that's why I'm kind of thinking that it might be, somebody said a wee go at sticking a different neck on, and they've had to alter things a wee bit to make it fit, but I don't really know exactly how, or is it just, I mean, the thing is that some things kind of don't really matter when you're making a guitar, to be honest. Something like that but it doesn't make any difference to the way the guitar works. So you still got, it's still a P bass and still giggable, and in Mad Max time you could just play this. If I had to play a gig with this, it's an awful lot better than not having a bass. I would just maybe just tape up, put a preemptive elastoplast on my thumb, or maybe just hitting it, smashing it with a hammer a little bit, might be enough just to kick these in. Also thinking, oh, okay, the bottom ends here are really sharp as well. I just did that there, ran up the. It's not so bad in the tips of your fingers because they're kind of hard, calloused, but it's the soft bits like in here. That's like scratchy. So if you're wanting a guitar, or I'm going to now tar all cheetahs as the same as this. Whether this is a particularly bad one or not, or a particularly good one, there is a guitar in there. You might need to do a wee bit of fretwork, make it work. Actually, setup wise, it's not actually that bad. The action is not too ridiculous around there. And again, P basses are just awesome anyway. It's kind of like a Telecaster. I don't really know if I've ever come across one that wasn't quite good. Kind of going for the, obviously the aesthetic reason there around about the junction's not particularly good. My thinking was, I mean, a P-bass scratch plate's kind of like a P-bass scratch plate's probably worth, I don't know, about 10-15 quid new, so worth a fiver. Pickup's got to be worth a fiver. Chrome knobs, always good. Tuners, got to be a tenner's worth of tuners on it. Bridge, got to be a fiver, so I'm kind of there. Even if I can't fix the neck, or if I'd bought this and I didn't know how to fix the neck, I could easily have bought this just as a chance at like a tenner or 20 quid or whatever it is. I just stuck the parts on eBay. You definitely get a tenner for the tuners, and for the bits. Someone would have a P bass that they want, an old battered P bass that they've smashed the scratch plate on and don't want to spend £15 on a new scratch plate. Don't really care what it looks like. Buy one of these. P basses often break here because the output jack's mounted on the plastic scratch plate, so if you kind of stand on it or knock on it, sometimes it cracks or smashes. More so with older guitars. I think nowadays plastic's a bit bendier and doesn't tend to snap the same way. The fret ends are doubly annoying in this because it's actually playing really well and it sounds fantastic if it wasn't lacerating my fingers. If I just play the centre two strings, that kind of means I'm arched over those other things. So I've just played the centre two strings with no problem. See, the frets can't really have popped up that much unless they've all popped up the same amount, because it's not. All the notes are sounding. So it might just be a case of just filing the fret ends. I'm looking at it and I'm like, can I see gaps? I don't know. But that's where they've scrimped on it. So do I make this, is this blue enough to be a, oh, what colour's Baby Sham? My pal keeps telling me about doing a Baby Sham guitar. Is it this sort of shade of blue? Or some sort of booze that's this colour? Because I kind of quite like. It's quite a nice, it's got a nice gradient thing. I think it's plywood. But I could just bucket it. I just bucket an iron brew. I don't think it's blue enough to be orange scratch plate, white pickups, and an iron brew sticker to be an iron brew. I think it's not the right blue. I don't think. But I don't know. So anyway, coming up on Trade Tuesday, I also noticed that there's something stuffed into the truss rod cover hole, which the truss rod appears to be set about right. In fact, if anything, it's maybe set a little bit too flat. I'm wondering if it's rattling, because if it was rattling, that would explain why someone had stuffed a bit of paper in there. But I'll see what happens with that later. I'm sure I'm going to be able to make something out of this. So if anyone's wanting a specific Iron Brew or Buckfaster P-Base, you can sort of order it. I might be able to do. Don't know what I'm doing pickup wise. It's kind of tempted to put 2 P-Base pickups on it because that's a really good system I like. I wouldn't bother doing a PJ. I don't want any more trebly pickups. If anything, I want to put another pickup in the neck. I might see if I can find something that fits in the neck to get like a 2 pickup going. The thing is, I feel with a bass, P-Base pickup's all you need. Most of my basses I've just run with a P-Base pickup, and I'm totally happy with that. It's amazing. Listen to that volume control now. It's hardly even crackling. A wee bit. But I mean, it's not even... I've not done anything other than turn it up and down 20 times. Oh, just a slight... Really, at that sort of level of crackle, I could live with it. No sign of any stereo numbers or anything like that. Rock on, see you next Tuesday. If anyone wants to trade, got something interesting to trade for a Bucky bass or an Iron Brew bass, give me a shout. And I keep mentioning this, I'm going to move this, the live stream's going to be on Saturday night instead, so everyone else can get drunk as well. I do realise some people have to drive on a Monday morning. I'm now just about to go on to this video where this PRS kit guitar, which I've just managed to sort, took forever. They're annoying me, this one, but it's done now. Rock on, catch you later.